right, y'all. We're back at Hoops Adjacent. I chickened out, Marcus. I was going to go to Philly tonight, Coach, but I decided, nah, it's raining too hard up here in D.C. Like, let me stay my
What's that
ass at
Kobe
home.
mean? Soft. Soft.
Man, we got Marcus. We got Mike Brown, the coach of the Sacramento Kings, with us on the show today, man. This is awesome. This is great.
Mike. Hey, people don't know, man. Mike is a real OG. Like, I mean,
I know.
OG. Mike is everybody's favorite uncle. I'm telling you. Like, I be wanting to ask Mike for $1 just because it feel like he gonna give me one. You know what I'm saying?
Let me hold a little something. Let me hold something.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get $5, uncle. I'm always down to talk to Coach B, man. That's how we roll.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to see you, Coach. Good to see you, man. We're talking about now, this is funny. We were talking just before we started about I thought you would flush a 36-point game, but you like, nah, we're gonna watch that.
Nah, we watching it. Hey, if I'm gonna watch it, everybody else gonna watch it. They gonna see and I saw it first. I saw it. I had best seat in the house watching that shit.
Right.
It was terrible.
Coach,
but how many of those games a year do you just allow? Like, it's an 82-game season. Ain't that gonna happen sometimes?
It's gonna happen sometimes. It's gonna happen, but you know what? I think you can learn from them too. I think there's something to learn or to take from it. You got to understand and believe that's not you. And if you truly believe that, then you'll be able to face it head on, learn from it, and then keep it moving afterwards.
Mike, do you know, like 5 minutes into a game like that, oh shit, we ain't got it tonight. We don't have it. Or, I mean, is it obvious early?
It was obvious early. We tried to fight back a little bit, but the way that they were scoring and how hard it was for us to score, and you know, you got to give them credit. They had a lot to do with it, but also the type of shots we were taking. We weren't doing what our staples were offensively. You know, we're a team that reverses the ball quite a bit. We're a team that touches the paint quite a bit and sprays the basketball. Mm-hmm. And we weren't doing those two things as well as we normally do. And we were always trying to score on the front side or on the initial action. And they're long, they're athletic. Willie Green does a great job with those guys. And so to think that you're going to try to hit them in the mouth on the front side on every single play is not how you're going to beat them. You got to move their defense from side to side. And so I knew offensively we weren't playing the right way, and I felt defensively that they would just get into their spots too easily, especially to the rim.
Yeah. What did you see? I mean, it was a bad loss, but you had won 6 straight before then. So what were the signs that you saw during the win streak that you're like, all right, we can build on this. This is good.
I thought we played with some resiliency, you know, and you could feel it defensively. Like when we needed to get stops or we wanted to get stops, we were able to lock down and play with a sense of physicality that we have to continue to build upon. I always felt that, you know, we're talented enough to score points. We're going to be able to find a way to score points against almost anybody if we play the right way. We got shooting. We got guys that can touch the paint. We got guys that are skilled. You know, we got guys that are willing passers. All those things, we understand how to space the floor. All those things can make you have a good offense, especially if you're capable of playing fast. But, you know, my concern with this team has always been on the defense end of the floor. Can we step it up a notch, especially now, so that come playoff time, we don't have to amp our intensity, our physicality, and all that other stuff 100 degrees just in order to be competitive in a 7-game series. You know, if we can amp that up right now come playoff time, you know, it'll only be a slight adjustment, which won't impact our offense as much as it did against the Warriors in last year's playoff series.
Mike, you got this might be a unique position in your career because the Kings aren't like the juggernaut, right? They're like the hometowns, even like your superstars, not like LeBron, right? Like you've coached LeBron, you've been in LA, you know, even your time with the Warriors, you've seen teams kind of grow up. What are you looking for to know that, all right, this team will be able to handle this? And what did you see to make them think, all right, the beam is cute, and we had the biggest, we had the big audience for the playoffs. We went 7 games with the Warriors, but it's another level. What made you think, all right, our team is ready for that?
Well, the big thing is last year just facing the adversity to start the season. We started the season 0-4, and usually if you have guys that don't believe or that don't feel like that they can win or aren't winners, you're going to fold at that point. And especially with the history of the organization, you just going to give in, and it's going to be a grind from that point on. And you may not even get to 500. But to see our guys continue to fight game after game after game, and then we pick up a tough win, I think, against Miami first. Now we're 1-4. And then I think we string off 6 or 7 in a row, maybe something like that after that. To me, I'm like, okay, hey, this team has some fight. This team has some belief. And if they do with the skill set that they have, it's up to me to try to put them in the right position to see if we can take advantage of certain mismatches and things like that and play at our strength to get wins. And so going through the year, being around these guys game after game after game and seeing us grow in the right direction together and staying connected gave me the confidence that this could happen. And then being around Foxy, being around Domas, knowing that these guys have the potential to be all-stars and maybe even better if everything around them was right. And now, having the year we had, which was a good year, everybody's like, oh man, you guys had a great year. No, we had a good year. We supposed to make the playoffs.
You like, it's
Right,
all right. It's all right.
Right.
We're supposed to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my opinion going in. And so now we have to take that next step to go from good to great. And, a lot of people might say, hey, go add this free agent, go add that free agent. We're not at that stage yet. We got to see if last year we found a nucleus for this team. And then once you give that a chance to see if you have that, now that's when you can make your moves and your adjustments to help you even take another step maybe in year 3. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now is after that 0-4 start to see our guys fight through that little bit of adversity and understand that they're still believing no matter what. I'm like, okay, I can rock with these cats.
Yeah.
So when did you DA, what's so funny about Mike Brown? He's like the nicest guy in the world, right? But I don't think people understand
until
like
until the game start.
Yeah. That's the funny part. I don't think people understand like, yo, this dude will get after you. And then because I know a lot of people when the practice to clam out, people sending me that like Mike Brown get down like that. I'm like, hey man,
that was supposed to come out.
It was good. It was good for us that it did. Like, how do you manage that? Because you've coached like the biggest stars in basketball history, right? Like some of the bigger names. Like, do players get shocked that you will get after them in that way, or how long does it take to realize like you're not just a smile and a handshake?
Now, I think I treat everybody with respect. And I hold everybody's treated the same but different. Everybody's held accountable, including myself. If I'm late, I'm paying my fine money. Even if I was meeting with coaches in the next room, getting ready for something, and then I walk in a second late, I'm dropping $1,000, I'm dropping $1,500. They shooting for my fine money just like everybody else. Now, having said that, we also know the right way to play and the wrong way to play. And it's my job to hold everybody accountable. And it starts with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. And so I'm going to coach those two guys the hardest. Because when I coach those two guys the hardest, it lets everybody else know that you can get it too. And those two guys allow me to coach them very hard because of the relationship and the respect that I have with them. That's what it boils down to. And so now, if something pops off in practice or in the game, hey, I can say what I need to say because for sure I've already said it to Fox. I've already said it to Domas in front of the group, and they've handled it well. And so that's where it starts and ends for me. And it's funny because I remember when I was a young coach in Cleveland, people always used to say, "Wow, LeBron ran the ship there, LeBron."
Yes.
And I just sat back and listened, but I think if you ask LeBron to this day, if something was not right, I was going to address it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
a pink elephant in the room type of guy. If something ain't right for anybody, for the team, for this person, that person, me, it's going to get addressed, and you're going to be held accountable. There's a standard that you have to set in order to have a chance in this league, and it starts with me.
So, Mike, along those lines, like, how many, coaches need to be able to MF a guy if it needs to be done, no matter who it is, to have credibility in the locker room. But how many of those do you have in your bag per year? Like, you can't go to that club every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, and I just wonder with today's guys, I'm not saying they're softer. They're just different. They're just different. They live their lives on social. It hits them differently when you come at them. And I just wonder how many of those do you have to do it less, differently? How do you jump a guy that needs to be jumped?
I think if it's the right time and the right moment, you got to go ahead and you got to be yourself. But yes, you can't just beat guys up every day and then yell and scream every day. In the same breath, you got to have that respect and that relationship with the guys in order for it to happen even one time during the course of the year. Also, guys have to understand that you're not, like I said earlier, I'm not just talking out of my mouth to them. I'm not pointing fingers at them. I'll give you a prime example. I think it was the Dallas game. It might have been the Dallas game or San Antonio game. Malik did something on the floor. And when he did it, I dropped my shoulders and I just threw my hand at him. I said, that's some bullshit, like that. And I'm big on body language. Now, if Malik messed up, what I should have done was, Malik, boom, 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 boom. Not drop my shoulders, shake my head, and wave my hand at him. Malik saw me do that. Malik came over, he said, Mike, that's some bullshit now, your body language.
Yeah.
And I was like, you right. If you did something out there, I should have coached you. I shouldn't have dropped my shoulders and waved my hand. I should have coached your ass, and I didn't do it. I apologize.
Yeah.
So they know that I got to be held accountable too. But at the end of the day, whenever a decision comes, I'm the head coach. I get paid to make tough decisions. I got to make the tough decisions. And once I make a decision, we all got to ride with it. But I give anybody an opportunity to speak to me, talk to me, because I know emotions are high. I don't take nothing personal.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it moving after that, because if I show that I'm being held accountable and I don't take it personal, then they best believe they got to too. If they don't, at the end of the day, they're going to come sit down, because I have to be the one that makes sure everybody's connected and on the same page, heading the same direction with what we're trying to do or accomplish.
So, what's amazing? I don't think it gets talked about enough. I remember when the trade went down for Halliburton, the prevailing commentary was, why would you give up Halliburton? Right? You got to move Fox. He's got this big contract. And it's almost like that didn't happen anymore. Like, what did you see in Fox? What did you see? Like, this dude is like, it wasn't just a playoff receiver. I don't know who was watching the Kings basketball, but he was doing it all year long. Like, this dude, it feels like almost out of nowhere, it's one of the elite players in the league. And a couple years ago, it's like, why would you give up Halliburton? He's the one to keep. How have you seen him grow into this guy? And if anybody knows who those guys are, like, who those guys are. So, like, what about him makes him one of those guys?
So, I got a little cheat code myself on this. Back in the day, Albert Hall from Hall Pass Media, he has these camps called Adidas Nations. And I was able to work this Adidas Nations camp.
Right.
And I'm telling you talking about the best from Bam Adebayo to Dennis Smith, Foxy was there. I mean, there were Jared Vanderbilt. There were probably, I don't know, 8 first-round picks at this camp, if not more. It was ridiculous. And so being able to work with Foxy for 3 days, I kid you not, I was like, this kid has a chance to be the best two-way point guard in the league when he gets there. His size, his strength, his quickness, like he got this dog in him too. Like he doesn't talk much, but don't poke the bear, because when that bear come out, I mean, he gonna run his mouth. He gonna hit you. He not afraid. He had all this stuff that I'm seeing in this camp, and I'm like, whoa. And now, did I think I was ever gonna coach him? No, you don't really think that. But I'm out of everybody with him, I was like, whoa. Fast forward, I get the job. Now I'm like, okay, I already saw what he could do in high school. Now it's just up to me to challenge him to try to bring it out every single night for 48 minutes. And it's going to be up to him to go get it done. And so right away when I got the job, his wife was an intern with us when she played at Cal, Rasay. So she was an intern on the player development side. So she worked with Luke Laux. She knew Luke Laux really well. Obviously, I knew her to say hello, but I wasn't in the gym working guys out and stuff like that when they were as an assistant coach with the Warriors. And so right away, I knew that we had a connection with Foxy and his wife. So I put Luke with him. Luke started working with him every day in the in that summer. And just Luke being able to be around a guy like Steph, especially, and being able to talk about Steph's work ethic, who Fox obviously respects, help Fox say, okay, this is the path I want to go down when it comes to my development and trying to be a great player or trying to reach my potential in this league. And he started working his tail off, and his focus and all that stuff was on another level, starting that first day in the summertime that we got here. And then it just carried over into the season because of what structure and emphasis we brought to the table on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And he just now scratching the surface, Marcus. I'm telling you, this dude got a chance to be one of the best. In my opinion, he should be an MVP candidate every single year he steps on the floor.
He was last year.
Yeah,
right. I know, but
Yeah.
he didn't get no love.
Yeah,
Right.
nah. If nobody was watching Kings basketball, because you could not watch the Kings and walk away saying that dude wasn't the MVP candidate. Like, he was nice.
Right. But isn't that, Mike, that's part of what you're trying to bust through, though, isn't it? I mean, like you said, anybody that watched y'all last year is like, damn, this kid is balling. This team's balling. But you got to kind of break through that old Sacramento shit, right? Like, I mean, get people to understand that this shit is different now.
Yeah, and that is part of it. That is a big part of it. We weren't on national TV, I think, but one time, maybe twice. I think the second time was on accident because they canceled the game at the last second. Say, hey, let's throw the Kings on because they like they like this purple beam or something like that.
Right.
So
man,
it's part of what we got to do. It's part of the process, and I'm okay with it. Foxy's okay with it, but he definitely is an MVP candidate year in, year out, in my opinion, since we've been here for sure.
No question. You mentioned Domas before, man. He got to lead the league in broken noses and just like, like, I just love how he just never stops. Like, even when he's overmatched physically, which is a lot, with his position, but he don't seem to care. And I know that's the family. I get it. I understand where he came from, but just what do you see from him this year in terms of where he has to take his game to the next level for y'all to be the best you can be?
First of all, his skill set is off the chain. I mean, you talk about another MVP candidate. Foxy had won Player of the Week this past week, and it literally, you could have almost flipped a coin and given it to Domas as well. He had a really, really good week for us. But you talk about his skill set. He gives us a way to be different. I mean, he can get the ball off the glass. He can go coast to coast. He can finish. He can go coast to coast and make the game easier for his teammates. And it's with some pace. He's not Draymond. Okay, please. Draymond
Right.
the best, but he's similar. Now, Draymond gives teams problems and headaches because he is a point forward, because he can bring the ball and he brings it at such a great clip that it causes a mismatch right away. And then you get into all this action with him having the ball. When he makes that pass, usually it bigs up the floor. So now when you pull over to help, you're pulling over with another guard, and there's nobody at the rim to help protect the rim, because your big's out on the floor. So his skill set, starting with his playmaking in the open court, is big time. His DHO game is big time. His post-up game is big time. One of the things that on defense that we talked to him about is he's not 7'3". He's not jumping, out the gym like a lot of athletic centers. But can he still be a rim protector? Yes. I coach one of the best rim protectors in the game, and I might be able to jump higher than him now than when he did when he played for me at Anderson Varejao. Anderson Varejao is the definition of verticality. Anderson, with vertical, you hit that strong body, and 8 times out of 10, you're missing the layup just because of the contact and trying to finish after the contact.
Right.
We asked Domas to be better in that area because, like you said, he is big, he is strong, he can take a hit, he won't fold, and it's going to be hard for a lot of cats to take that hit and finish. And he's gotten better. He's had games where he's had 6 or 7 verticalities at the rim. And the percentages for people when they do have to shoot over him when he goes vertical are extremely low. So that has been a huge leap for him defensively, which in turn has helped us on the defensive end, because right now we're sitting maybe 14th, 15th when we finished 25th, 26th last year. I think that is a big part of it. And then offensively, one of you talk about Foxy being in the lab in the offseason, Domas was too. And Doug Christie gets a lot of credit for being there every day with him. Also, Leandro Barbosa. Doma, it was a little easier for Luke because Foxy spent his offseason in Sacramento. Doma spends his offseason in LA part of the time, but Napa most of the time. And give Leandro Barbosa and Doug Christie a lot of credit because they were in Napa at a hotel, or they were in LA at a hotel almost daily with those guys. Domas maybe took a week off, if that. And, he worked on his 3, he worked on his free throws, he worked on his, medium game, his catch and shoot shot from, 10 to 15 feet. And all that is vastly improved. And if he's open, we want him to take those things.
What did that playoff series, like, what did you see that what did he learn from that? What did it do for him? I know Looney grabbed every offensive rebound in the world. I'm sure he had to live with that all summer, but that type of experience can help a player if he handles it right?
100%. And Marcus, both of y'all been around the game a long time. Steph was phenomenal. Steph, I'm gonna take my hat off to Steph. He's the greatest. If he's not the greatest, he's top 5 greatest player all time, probably in the game. And he scored his points. But what you just said, Looney, if Looney does not offensive rebound the way he does, and a lot of people could have said woulda, shoulda, could in anything in life, but I'm gonna say it right now. I think we would have had a lot better chance of winning that series. I thought Looney's offensive rebounding was the X factor in that series, even in Game 7. Although Steph had 50. Looney's second chance opportunities for that team really, really hurt us. Having said that, that's a team effort. That's not just on Domas to keep him off the glass. We have to do a better job of putting a second body on Looney at times to keep him off the glass, because Looney's just a great offensive rebounder no matter who he goes up against. He's won games this year for the Golden State Warriors with his offensive rebounding. And so we have to, as a team, collectively notice that and do something about it. But on the flip side, we all know that Domas likes that left hand. And Golden State did a great job taking that left hand away. Not only that, they dared him to shoot the ball from the 3-point line. They dared him to shoot the ball from 17 feet, and he wasn't comfortable doing it. And so he's got to let that thing fly wherever he is when we face anybody in a 7-game series. And he also needs to work on that right hand, which he's shown he has, because he's starting to finish better with his right hand. And that's something that he's going to have to be able to do in a 7-game series when teams have that much time to prepare to take away individual player strengths.
Yeah, but he didn't. Did he go into the offseason like, yeah, that was a team rebounding thing? Domas seems like a dude who's like, yeah, nah, like, that's on me. Like, nah, I'm going to take this on me. Like, he just strikes me as that type of guy.
No, 100%. And he should do that. He should do that. That's the type of mentality. If you want to be an all-star caliber player, an MVP type player, you don't ever ask for help. If you need to ask for help, then you're not at that level. So he should do that. I'm just speaking as a coach.
Yeah.
As a coach, we got to get that second body down there to hit Looney at times, and we didn't do a good job of that.
He did. He had a Drago summer, DA. He was in he was in a lab with Looney face on the face.
Running up the mountain.
Yeah.
Looney!
He put the Looney fat head up on the back.
Coach, what have you seen his first 13 games for y'all? What have you seen from Sasha in terms of how you want to use him and where he feels most comfortable being used?
We kind of our 2, 3, and 4 are all the same. But he's offensively, defensively, he's more suited to guard fours. He's done a pretty good job of it. He's what he uses is intelligence. He uses angles, stuff like that. His feel, and then he's also a pretty strong guy too. So we'll use him because he's just got a good feel for the game on both ends. Defensively, he's a heck of a rebounder. Even offensively, he's a really good rebounder from the perimeter. He knows how to pass. He knows how to cut. He moves well without the ball. He spaces well. And, we're just starting to see a little bit of how good a shooter he can really be. He can shoot. He can shoot the piss out the ball. I'm telling you, he can flat out shoot.
Yeah, he's got a ratchet, dude. You could tell by the way he ready to shoot it. Like he can shoot it.
Right.
The damn mechanics is all over here and all that, and it's quick, But I'm telling you, when you watch him in practice, it's boom, 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 boom. And so, with that ability, guys got to be conscious of where he is. And so he's going to be a big part of what we do. He just has to continue getting reps. The tough part about it is, I feel like we can play up to 11, 10, 11, 12 guys at times.
Yeah, right.
When we're healthy. And so, it's going to be hard for him as well as others to try to find minutes on the floor when we're healthy. Trey will be back soon, and you get Trey back. Trey was good for us last year. You got Sasha sitting there. Keon Ellis has played well for us. Davion sitting there. So Kobe Jones has played well in the G League. So as the season goes on and guys continue to get reps, I like it, but it's going to be, the decision's going to be harder and harder for me to make.
Yeah, I was curious about that. To me, one of your X factors, well, dating back to last year anyway, it feels like you could almost tell, like when the Kings are clicking, like Herter is like just punishing defenses, right? Like he's the guy that's like, all right, you got to deal with Fox and you got to deal with Sabonis, and he's the guy who just breaks your back. How have you dealt with him in his cold spells? You dealt with Clay forever. You know how Clay is. Like Clay, if he ain't making shots, you feel like the world is ending. But like getting guys to understand, like when you go through a slump, like there are other things you can do. For a guy like Red Velvet, who's he makes his money shooting the ball. Like what has that process been like? I see he's shooting the ball better now, but he'll go through those spells. And like you said, you got other guys now who you could turn to. Like what's that process like?
He's got a good feel defensively. And I'm not saying he needs to be a defensive stopper, but he's got to be engaged defensively. And when he is, Marcus, I'm telling you, he gets because he's in the right spot and he's a little longer than what you think. He comes up with deflections and some little things that may or may not show up in a traditional box score. And so he has to continue doing that in order to stay out on the floor. He has to continue the defensive rebound, which he's done a better job of as time has gone along. And then offensively, he got to run the floor, try to get to the corners, because when he does, it opens up driving lanes for Fox and whoever else. And then he's got to keep moving without the ball. Like just his movement, him cutting back door, him coming off a pin down, coming off a DHO, turning the corner, getting downhill, and looking to push it ahead real easy. But the velocity of his movement, similar to Clay's, even when those guys aren't making shots, They got to be guarded, and how they move, the velocity that they have in their movement, it causes the defenses to overreact, which will allow the game to be easier for their teammates on the floor. So they got to keep doing those types of things. They can't ever drop their head or their shoulders and start pouting offensively, because their movement, the quickness and the change of pace of their movement is huge for what we're trying to do on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah. You were so intentional, Mike, during camp at really kind of raising the temperature a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wondered how you went about, what your thought process was during the summer about what we're going to try to do to start the season, and how did they respond to that? And did they know what it was you were trying to do and understand, okay, he sees more for us than maybe other people see, and we need to understand why he's doing it?
No, for sure. I mean, from day one in the summertime, it's on my whiteboard in my office. But the one thing I told them is we need to play with more physicality yesterday, not when the season starts, not halfway through the season, yesterday. And that was an emphasis from day one. I talked that way to the summer league team. Anytime I went and watched the guy worked out, we talked about it. And so they felt it. They felt it from me. And I said, because if we do, come playoff time, we'll be ready. We won't have to up anything.
Right,
okay?
right.
If we do, it only be this much. So now it won't affect our offense the way it did when it comes to wide open shots, trying to push the pace and some little things, because our legs are used to it, our minds used to it, and more importantly, our heart, our determination is used to playing at that level. And so I preached it all summer, and I preached it at our team training camp dinner opening night, and from Jump Street, I let it know that this is one area that I will focus on, I will lock in on every single second that we're on the floor, and you all better too if you expect to play. And so the guys felt that they knew that we had a chance against the Warriors. They knew if we would have made a few more shots here and there, because we did give the Warriors credit. Give them credit because they beat us, but we felt like we had some open looks that normally go in that we couldn't make because of the effort we were giving on the other end of the floor. And so these guys want to win. I truly believe that. And they know it's part of the process when it comes to trying to take that next step.
You have one of these guys, man, as somebody who's dealt with some of the best players in the league. Like, Keegan might be it, huh? Like that dude can play, man. Like he might be on another level somewhere.
And the thing that I like about Keegan, because he's struggling right now shooting the ball. He hadn't found his rhythm shooting the ball from three, but we're demanding so much more out of him. We put him on Steph, put him on Brandon Ingram. We're putting him on that guy. We put him on Donovan Mitchell. We're putting him on that guy, and he's got to be able to play at a high level defensively and still get it done offensively. And offensively, last year, he was predominantly a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and he played off of everybody else in our offense. Now we're telling him, hey, go get it a little bit more. Show us that you can score from all three levels, because you can. In the summer, he played summer league in Sacramento. He played 2 games. Dude averaged 34.
It was a joke. I was like, why is he out here? This is like JV to him.
You're right. But and that's how skilled he is. Against that competition.
Yeah, against that level, yeah.
So now, and I'm telling you, he works very, very hard. And now he just needs to continue to work on his game in NBA games against NBA competition. And once he figures it out, it could be a wrap.
But do you see a guy like that and say, all right, you might have a little something. Let me pull out the the superstar plan I got in my briefcase.
No, 100%. He knows he passed up 2 things. It happened in practice. It happened in practice first. He came off a DHO and the guy went under. and he didn't shoot it. And the media wasn't there, so this clip didn't get out. But I mean, you guys think I would have believed? Man, I stopped practice and I let him have it. And I said, if anybody goes under anything on you again, you better shoot that thing or you coming out the game. And the next play down, somebody went under, bang, cash. I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. In a game, this was about, I don't know how many games ago, and we were playing at home. And, man, I think it might have been a Laker game. I can't remember. He passed up a shot. And I went ballistic. I started the game going. I started cursing at him. I lost my mind. I forgot about the game. I just started cursing at Keegan. I running up and down, right? And then I turned to the bench and I was like, Sasha, get that out the game. So Sasha comes right up to the table. Then I turned back around and we were on offense. Ball got swung to Keegan. Keegan was deep. Keegan shot that thing. It went in. He turned to me and I swear, I might have been seeing things, but I had that mean mug on him. He looked at me. He goes, "Take that, motherfucker." I'm like, I swear to God. I didn't ask him, but I swear to God. I was like, okay.
Hey, you graduated. Yeah.
I was like, Sasha, go sit your ass back down.
Sasha, you go ahead. You good, Sasha.
I'm like, okay, Keegan. Help me. Make me sit down, because I sit down.
Right.
I ain't got no problem with it.
Hey, he graduated to another level that day, huh? He
You
was
know
like,
what
all right, you got you a new belt, huh?
Yes, he did.
He got his stripes, man.
He got his stripes.
Hey, that's incredible.
man,
That's
Mike.
great.
Hey, let me, man. I know you gotta go show them some more film.
Yeah, you
man,
got to do
but
something about that 36.
You know what I'm saying? But let me hit you on this real quick before we get you out of here. Like, I have my opinions about the end season. I just wonder what you think about it.
You know, so I was wrong on the plan. When the plan came,
Me too.
first,
I was wrong. Yep.
I was
Me
like,
too. Yeah.
man, this is, and I think the plan is, that's one of the best things since sliced bread.
Good.
I mean,
It's been
you gotta
good.
get-
Yes.
And the reality of it is, if you sit back and you really think about it, NBA knows what they're doing. I mean, they do at the end of the day. And so I'm giving on the plan, I'm excited about it. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm excited about it. You know, we played 2 playing games, and you know,
In season.
yeah, I'm sorry. In season,
I be doing the same thing every time.
Yeah, me too.
we played 2 in-season games, and man, I got a great coaching staff. I got 4 or 5 guys that, in my opinion, gonna be head coaches someday, and they think outside the box and all that. And both times we played an in-season tournament game, you know, we started the film session off with 3 different pictures. You know, for instance, like the last one when we played Oklahoma City, you know, the first picture was how many bottles of white wine and red wine you can buy with $500,000. And then the second picture was what type of mansion you can buy in Oklahoma City with $500,000.
Right.
And the third one was how many horses you could buy if you want a ranch in Oklahoma City with $500,000. So,
Right.
so we having some fun with it. You know, we did the same thing the second time we played a play-in.
Right.
You know, we had pictures up with the Spurs against that. You know, what you can get for $500,000. Just to remind the guys that, hey, this game's a little different.
Right.
Regular season games. And, you know, and if you win it all, you're going to be able to pocket a lot of change. You know, have $1 million. And we update the guys, even against San Antonio, you know, like against Dallas at the end of the game, we held it. I think it was against Dallas. We held it. We took the turnover with the shot clock violation. But if you watch our San Antonio game, I was telling these guys, score.
Yeah,
score.
Right. That point differential, right?
Point differential. And Kevin Herter made a layup at the buzzer that counted to give us 2 extra points. And so we're trying to take it serious. We're excited about it. Hopefully we'll get a chance to play in it, because all it does for a team like us It just gives us more opportunities to play on a bigger stage where there's more pressure that you're not going to face until quote unquote playoff time.
Right. That's worth a trip to Vegas. You want to bring 15 guys to Vegas with you?
Hey, I'm going. Hey, I'm sure. Hey, you seen that coach's allotment too?
Yeah, right.
Come on now, Marcus. Come on, baby.
I'll deal with the hardship.
You're like, yeah, well, we gonna be all right, huh?
Oh man, Mike, this has been great, bro. Man, thank you, man, for joining us. Thank you for jumping in on this. This is fantastic. Man, I love talking to you about anything because you can talk about everything, and you keep it 100, which is what we love. We love that, man. So stay safe out there. Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas. Marcus, are you going to Vegas, Marcus?
Yeah,
I'll probably figure out a reason to get to Vegas. I mean,
I'm gonna have to get my old ass on a plane again. Marcus going out there.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be hey, Mike, he ain't gonna be talking about no weather then, huh? He ain't gonna be
I'll grin and bear it.
All of a sudden he good, huh? Philly now, but Vegas, I'm in there.
In December, shit, man. I just don't want to be in Vegas when it's 117 out in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
December, you're gonna be straight. Yeah, you're gonna be
December
good.
Be nice.
All right.
Oh man. All right, y'all. Leave that 5-star review. Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get this American podcast. Marcus, if they can't leave that 5 stars, what they need to do?
Keep it to yourself, you haters. We have Mike Brown cuss you out.
Cuss you out. Come to your spot and cuss you out.
Cuss you out. We're gonna make a track of Mike Brown cussing you out. You gotta play it anymore. With Malik Monk doing the intro.